Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it. Zoom. Hello, everyone. Are you surprised to see me? Remember Uncle V? You know, I unapologetically cover Epic Cash. Let me make sure this isn't going to blow us out. Nope, we're good. So I'm not supposed to be here, yet it's Epic Cash Live on Friday on October 21st. And who's here but me? Why? Well, I named this Epic Cash Live 1021 Karina, Flash Floods, and Mudslides, ... and Copper. Now, let me share with you what I was going to do. I have a good buddy. He was a client of mine, recently retired, bought a really nice place down in Costa Rica, up on a hillside, and right there overlooking the whatever water body that was. And I needed to drive down last Tuesday to Miami to be in my hotels because it's a direct flight from Miami to this airport in Costa Rica. And so I'm driving down there, getting there, and all of a sudden, I'm really close to Miami. I get a text that includes this. Let me show you. Bear with me. Let me show you. Now, this is where we're headed, okay? Can you see that? I'm going to stop screen share because I didn't hit the water. I didn't hit the share sound. So yeah, this is where we were headed. And I did not get any kind of communication from American Airlines on what happened. Let me find my mouse. There we go.
Ahí está mi carro navegando. Estamos aquí por el parque de Jacó en la calle pública. No estaba manejando en un río. Estaba manejando en la calle pública.
I have no idea what she's saying.
Y esto, bueno, se ha convertido en un río. Allá está que el carro completamente tapado casi. Allá que ya tienen la trompita completamente metida. Ahí están las noticias. Y mi carro.
So anyway, that was Tropical Storm Karina or something like that. And it created a landslide between the airport and his home. So there would be no way to be able to get there. So instead of being in Costa Rica right now, which would have been fun, would have been a nice, relaxing, fun weekend. We had deep sea fishing planned. We had zip lining planned, and we had a game of golf planned. And he told me the zip line place had a landslide. So pretty sure when we reschedule, not going to be hitting that place. But that's why I'm here. That's why I am here. And it is my favorite place to be on Fridays, frankly. Epic Cash Live Friday. And with me, I have Yoga Dude and Max Freeman.
Hello.
Yoga Dude, master of all. It's just what I'm going to always call you. And then we have Max Freeman, who, of course, is the founder of Epic Cash. He's the one that when you walk around, he looks a little bit weird if you ever meet him in person because he has a supercomputer for a brain. And so it's just kind of odd talking to a computer screen that has a pseudo on it. I'm just joking. With you, Max. Okay, so the other thing I said, now I've covered the mudslides, the Karina, the flash flooding and all of that. But I say ... and copper. Now, I'm really glad I'm here today because today I get to learn as much as you do about the recent developments with a company called Copper. I don't know much about it, but from what I have learned recently, like within the last 24 hours, it is hashtag BFD. Hashtag GRS. What is that? Get rich slowly. You'll learn all about that. Yoga Dude, would you mind teeing up Copper and saying hello to the gang on Friday, please? And then we'll pass it over to Max.
All right. Let's see. By the way, I just finished propagating the links to your amazing live stream, so everybody knows. So
Oh, thank you.
folks
Thank
are
you.
piling into the lobby. So yeah, Copper is a custody provider. So Copper is it a relationship with Copper opens us to
Time
institutional
out.
investment.
Time out.
Yes.
You know, I'm always good for the back the bus up timeout. We say custody provider like everyone understands what custody is and what it is to provide custody. Can we start at square one and just educate us on what is custody in terms of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology?
Custody is essentially who holds the money or who holds the crypto.
Who holds
So
the keys?
who holds the keys to the crypto? And this is more of an academic question, so I would definitely defer to Max
Okay.
to unpack that because I'm just a dude.
So yeah,
Right. Good.
for example, there's 1,000 digital asset hedge and venture funds that are focused on crypto,
Yep.
and they do not hold their own keys. So imagine like
They
a
do
bank,
not or cannot.
both.
Oh, okay. So they choose not to
Yeah.
for
If
regulatory
you think
purposes.
about it, like let's say you're managing $100 million of somebody's money, are you going to write your seed words down on a piece of paper?
Good point.
Like, are you going to like buy a ledger and stick it in your desk drawer? I mean, what if it gets stolen? Stuff like that. So
Great.
precisely zero of serious institutional money managers hold their own keys. And if they do, like if you ever wonder how Bitmart got hacked for $300 million, or you hear about all these oopsies, I mean, anybody that is touching keys gets hacked. It's just a matter of time and how bad they get banged. And so the industry standard is to rely on third-party custodian firms such as Copper, such as Anchorage, such as Fireblocks. Coinbase also has custody. There's about
Right.
30 firms that offer custody services, more or less. But in terms of focused players, Copper is the market leader in the
Wow.
sector. Fireblocks is another one that we actually will be getting onto as well, thanks to our partnership with Ibanera. But that's coming a little bit later, whereas Copper is in the bag now.
Hey,
And
Max,
so, yeah.
before yoga actually continues, because I rudely interrupted, can you just answer one question for me? I remember last year you were very eager because you finally got a connection at Copper to be able to talk about Epic, and you got the Heisman. They didn't even want to talk to you. So the good news is that for everyone watching, I'm giving up the ending here. So, sorry, but they have engaged and they are integrating Epic, and it is amazing that they are. So this is one of those really good news Fridays.
Yeah. It sounds minor, but I can't even overemphasize how important this is. So, what does being on the Copper platform mean? So, Copper handles serves about 600 institutional clients that represent a meaningful share of the industry. So they work with trading firms, hedge funds, DeFi funds, fintech platforms, financial institutions, exchanges, basically like the guts underlying Binance is not just Binance as an example. There's like dozens of service providers that Binance relies on to stitch together their platform.
Kind of like Epic Cash isn't just Epic Cash. Ultimately, there's a whole ecosystem when this is all matured, right?
Yeah,
Is a good fair analogy?
Yeah, exactly. So as an example, let's say you are a market maker and you're arbitraging one exchange versus another. And so you have some longs open here, you have some shorts open there. You need to be able to do the settlement, the reconciliation, the compliance stuff, the risk controls. I mean, if you imagine all of those office towers in New York City and London and Tokyo and Singapore and Frankfurt, and all the financial centers of the world, what are those people doing? They're managing the process controls relative to value flows and information flows. And so essentially, by being on Copper, there's probably about I'd say like 30-40% of the industry that was completely off limits to us, no matter how much people liked us or say, oh wow, I can make a ton of money if I do that. If it doesn't fit within their business processes, they simply cannot handle it, period. They won't even consider. And now, like, doesn't mean that all those guys are going to wake up tomorrow and go, hey, let me go buy some Epic. That's where you've been all my life. No, we have the chance to talk to them now. We can even begin that process of engaging with that. So we've gotten everywhere that we've gotten so far with just the little fringe of people and home miners and really grassroots type of adoption, but we haven't had the serious money because they have their ways of working and they're not willing to change those ways of working when a new opportunity comes along, no matter how it is.
Okay, I want to rewind. And again, I apologize. Yoga, continue. And I know Max covered some, but I just always love and appreciate how you clearly articulate to those like me who might not know everything in the weeds. Just let's.
Well, I think Max nailed it. I mean, really, look, when we made our claim before that someday we're going to be, we're going to be the top privacy crypto, and then we kind of thought about it and I said, well, actually, why not just be the top crypto? And a lot of people, even when you're talking about like cracking the top 100 or top 50 or the top 10, for a lot of people, it's as much of a leap of faith as when we said, when we were a third of a penny, that we're going to be someday 10 cents. And people are like, yeah, right, dude. And then we said, we're going to be a quarter. And they're like, yeah, right, dude. But like we've hit milestones, right? So people are going, okay, well, maybe these crazy guys are onto something. Okay. But the thing is, without the certain level of acknowledgement by a custody provider, okay, there's a bunch of doors that are just not open to you.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of people, when we made those claims, they were understandingly skeptical, okay, because they know that in order to reach a certain breakout level, the certain critical mass, you need to get the nod from the gatekeepers, okay, and this is one of the biggest nods. And look, just like Max said, it's not like exchanges and Kevin O'Leary's of the world are going to come running to us, okay, but what it does is it declares that we're worthy of their consideration. So this is not like the end of the trail, but what this is just a whole bunch of doors opened. We got to get our tools sharpened, and we got to get our presentations tightened, and we got to get our fundamentals nailed down even more than they have been.
That's right.
So that we get this traction.
I want to give an analogy. So, you have a lot of, in baseball, you have a lot of people who are, waiting to get an at bat. And unless the coach, says, okay, Max, get your bat and get up there. And then you can take some swings. You don't even get the swings unless the coach puts you in. Or to use another analogy, those who are older like me will know, there used to be a commercial about E.F. Hutton. And it said, when E.F. Hutton talks or speaks, people listen. And what is that? So in the world of sales, I would call it an endorsed entree. So it doesn't mean that if my business really needs to be integrated with AWS at Amazon, that I can just cold call in there and get to the right decision makers. But if I have someone that has had a relationship with AWS for 2 decades, whom they trust, who says, hey, this guy over here, his business, you need to take that phone call. You need to take that meeting. We highly endorse them. That is what we're getting from Copper, correct?
Well, I like my doors analogy because it's simpler and half the world doesn't know what baseball is. But
which analogy do you like?
It just opens doors. Look, that's what it is. It opens doors, and then doors that were closed to us previously. It didn't matter like what we were or who we were. Like I mentioned, Kevin O'Leary. Okay, Kevin doesn't touch anything that is not qualified in a certain way, in a certain light. Sure. It doesn't matter how much ROI he thinks he can get. He plays super safe, and a lot of these guys, like Max said, they don't have an option not to play safe. Even if they wanted to get the mad access from potential of Epic, They're just not allowed to go, to go in our pool kind of thing.
Right.
Okay. So what this did is this opened up doors for us. And Max, you've been patient, so I'll shut up and over to you.
Yeah. So here's another analogy. Like, let's say we are Volkswagen and we are building a car. There might be 15,000 parts involved in creating that car. If there is a single one of those 15,000 parts, let's say some key component in the engine, a fuel injector or something, the car is not going to run. It doesn't matter how many, like you're 99.9999% there. If you don't have that one part you need, like it just can't go. So one by one, steadily over the 3+ years that we've been launched now, we've been grinding away at these missing parts that are needed. Another way to think of it is that the addressable market that we can go after, or the addressable market of capital that could flow into our protocol with having even a single custody provider, much less Fireblocks on top, is probably 1,000 times bigger than it is without that. So it doesn't mean we're going to be 1,000 times bigger, certainly not overnight, but at least we have the opportunity.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's just talk about a couple privacy related coins, XMR, Monero, and R, right? Those are pretty well known, and they have multi-billion-dollar market caps, or at least I know Monero does. Are they? Are they?
No.
They're not with no institutional provider has access to them, right? They're
yeah. So not to throw shade, but Pirate Chain is not a serious thing. Like in time that will be revealed for people. I'm sorry for those that got conned. I wanted to believe as well, but it's pretty clear now. So that dog doesn't hunt. It's never going anywhere. Monero is at 3 billion market cap. I think at one point it might have been 8 or 10, something like that. But it too is not supported by the infrastructure providers. Now they would like to, and it's a big enough market cap for them to, but there's extreme regulatory pressure against privacy protocols. So that that was such a huge thing. I can't even tell you. Like, let me tell you how this came together. So we were in October 2022. I remember in I think it was early 2021. I remember I was in Miami, and it had taken like a year to work through channels. Hey buddy, do you know somebody over there? Can you get me a phone call? This and that. Like it was like, yes, we finally are talking to Fireblocks. And I remember talking to them, and this super arrogant dude, I think they had just raised like 460 million of venture capital, and they're the hottest startup under the sun, and everybody wants them. And I was so happy to get this meeting, and then I was just crushed where this guy says, look, if you get to $1 billion market cap and you pay us $10 million, we might think about listing you in a year. Call us then. Goodbye. And before he told me that, he said, look, Ripple XRP just offered us $5 million to integrate, and we said no, we have other priorities. Like, get to the back of the bus. If we're not moving for Ripple for $5 million, your little shitcoin is not anything we would look at anytime soon. So it was just a complete dismissal. And Copper, incidentally, I'm going to wait until the press release comes out. But as it's part of the deal with Trillions, they're going to be in the first episode. So the cat's out of the bag on that a little bit. So we're scratching their back with promotional consideration on Trillions. They're helping us with protocol support. But even 6 months ago, new layer ones were paying people like Copper, like Fireblocks, low to mid single digit millions of dollars to get added. And now, of course, it's a bear market, and there's blood in the streets. So we were able to negotiate a much better deal.
Yeah, sometimes timing is you don't realize it. It's like I'm not saying this for any God people, but there is a God cliche out there that God is never late, but he's rarely early. So it's kind of like sometimes when you're just, man, why isn't this happening? Man, why isn't it? Sometimes it's for a good reason, because something better comes along later, and somebody up there may know it, but you don't. That's my belief anyway. But hey, I think we have that. My show has made it though, because now the sex bots are trying to attack us. I've been trying to hide all of the comments and report them. But any one with a wrench in there, please, if there are any sex bots that come in, I'm pretty sure they're not looking for crypto counseling in here.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was actually hot on the button on that one, but I also thought that maybe it's an opportunity to spice somebody's Friday.
Speaking of spice, I'm looking at the explorer.epic.tech, and thanks to Diego's efforts over at CipherStack, the stackwallet.com. If you haven't downloaded that you really should. Our on-chain transactions is higher than I've ever seen it. Looks like we had an hour, what was it, on the 17th with 88 transactions. There was another part of the heat map here. 56, 54, 52. I never saw more than 10 or 20. Like when it got up to 20, I was like, ooh, wow.
Right.
And I've never seen numbers like this before. And so, people are using the Epic network as actual cash. It doesn't matter whether it's 46 cents or $46. The fact is that the payment tech works. And as we continue to make that easier to use, it's Katie bar the door. Our chain can do 1.4 million transactions a day for a fraction of a penny right now.
Right.
And our primary competitor, BTC, doesn't work on layer 1 and doesn't work on layer 2 either. So the market is there for us.
And BTC recently had a little constipation episode where it took them 85 minutes to solve a block, during which time 13,000 transactions ended up getting backed up. So we're definitely, our tech is clearly functioning better. One other thing is that we're not complacent. Todd Lewis and his team, they're constantly pushing the envelope on the spec. And one of the things we're improving on, we're diverging from our ancestral code from Grin to be able to have even greater transactional throughput. That makes us even friendlier with exchanges that experience high volume of transactions as well from our user base. So again, this is an ongoing. We're never complacent. We're always trying to improve our process and improve our tech.
We just shipped GUI 4.0. What was it, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And I was working this morning on the feature list for GUI 5 already. The upfront investments that we made in our processes for doing quality engineering over time are really paying off now. So the innovations that are hitting the market will continue to be faster and faster based on those early investments. We're really, really building momentum in a lot of ways.
Do either of you have searching? It was from Jeff. Okay. The 2-minute video of Jeff O'Leary from just a couple of days ago, where he's basically describing what's going to be the home run, and he basically describes Epic Cash.
Jeff O'Leary or Kevin O'Leary?
Kevin, I'm sorry, Kevin.
Okay, no, but that would be interesting. He was at the Web3 Expo here in Vegas recently, and I wasn't able to cross his path as much as I would have liked to. One day we will get the chance to plead our case with him. Also, there's another show coming up called Money 2020 in a couple days, and 3 of our partners are going to be there. AirKit, which is a mobile software development development toolkit provider that EEA is working with, Copper, Custodian, probably going to do dinner with them. And then also the PLI gift cards people. Another thing that is safe to talk about, another deal that's years, literally years in the making, is the ability to buy gift cards with, buy Epic with gift cards. So we were originally targeting, let's say March or April of next year, and that's probably still more what it will look like for the physical cards. But the digital channels will go online much sooner, potentially by the end of the year. So can you imagine if people can go to buyepiccash.com and acquire it with the easy button through a gift card?
I can.
These are all things that one by one, as we get them in place, they unblock massive amounts of potential, and they serve as an exponential multiplier effect for the things we already have.
I found it. Let me
Let's watch it.
Let's watch it together, shall we? Yes, we shall.
I'm not hearing him.
Yeah, me neither.
Sorry, guys.
That's actually not a bad thing.
Dang it. Why is my okay, keep talking because I'm gonna have to just stop sharing this. I can't find my mouse.
The
I think-
strong silent type.
There we
I,
go.
I like, to me, Kevin is really interesting as a specimen. He is a pure shark of capitalism.
Yep.
He is just scrupulous enough not to violate the letter of the law, but he's out for profit and nothing else. Like for him to, and for people like that to ever engage with us is exactly the reason why we need, things like Copper, endorsements like Copper. Because guys like that, they're institutional investors. Their risk tolerance is low in a sense that if it's not compliant, they're not going to touch it. Like they don't care if they're going to 5x, 10x, whatever their profit, they're just not going to go for it at all. So yeah. I think it's cool to get this kind of level of gravitas behind us that actually opens us up to, be seriously considered by guys like him.
All right. I fixed it. This is just a few minutes.
Bust it out.
Let's go.
Most of the investors that are willing to
From the
take
beginning?
unexpected investments,
Nope.
and some of them are large. A new deal called Miston, M-I-S-T-E-N, just got funded. Evan Chung was the name of the fellow who left Facebook. He was doing their digital currency. He took the whole team, set up a new company, raised $300 million in 45 minutes, basically without a deck. FTX was the lead investor at $100 million. I put money into that deal. He is promising a new blockchain to service financial transactions at 10 times the speed of anything else out there. And we do need that. So there's a lot of interest. But there's an example of a have company that really has no revenue. It's just starting its journey with now 300 million. It was almost 6x oversubscribed. The rest of the crypto market that came out of the DeFi space has been obliterated. And financings there are being done in crammed down rounds, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% less than the last round. Very, very difficult. If the company's not profitable, there's not a lot of investor appetite for it. So you have the haves and the have-nots. In addition to that, the whole Web3 movement, which was what that whole conference was about, is more towards mass adoption. Everybody that's investing money into that is trying to solve for the wallet, number one. Number two, security. And number three, regulation. Those are the three horsemen of the new Web3 movement. Mass adoption through regulation, through security, and a much easier to use wallet. The best analogy I can give you, until your grandmother can figure out how to buy Bitcoin on her cell phone, we don't have a wallet that works yet. It has to pass the grandmother test.
The grandma test. Just final thoughts on Bitcoin as it's slowly crawling, trying to get back up here. Are you adding to your Bitcoin position still?
Well, I'm doing what a lot of other traders are doing. I'm going into the November time period with over 34 different positions on, many of them underwater. So naturally what I'm going to do now that the IRS and other regulators around the world are now looking at crypto in terms of tax compensation, very much like a security, I'm going to have to trade. So I'm going to be doing trading taking some of the projects that have been decimated down 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, selling those and basically buying what I consider the granddaddy index of all crypto, Bitcoin. So I can go through the tax season owning more Bitcoin. I will, maybe a little bit more Ethereum.
Yay, Maxi.
But basically the large market cap names are the ones that matter. So if you're going to do a basket of names to hold through the back end of the year, I would say it's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, Solana. Those are huge market cap names, and I think are going to index together. I don't think any one of those breaks out of the pack. They all kind of trade in tandem.
Yeah, they're going to drown together.
If you're only going to own one, it's probably going to be Bitcoin. But all the rest trade in tandem with Bitcoin anyways.
Can I just throw some cheap shades? I'm sorry, I've been quiet throughout the whole thing, but I just want one cheap shot, guys. Just let me get that in, okay?
Do it.
When somebody says, and this is funny that Kevin would say this, okay, because he's a paranoid guy. Like he mentioned, SEC and everybody else several times, how he is regulation, okay? But here's a flag, and if any SEC people are, this is a freebie for you guys, okay? When somebody says $300 million was raised without a deck in 40 minutes, okay? There's a term for that. It's called a massive insider play, okay? It's when people from a tightly knit group got invited to partake in a piece of pie that was not offered to anybody else, okay? So when somebody said they raised 300 mil without a deck in 40 minutes, okay?
That's a great point.
There you go, boys. I expect my profit check from SEC in the mail.
Wow. So,
Martha Stewart nervously smoking on the side there, okay? Because that's like her shit was amateur hour. This is how the big money is made. 300 million in a little mahogany cabinet between scotch and cigars in 40 minutes.
Hey, Max, I was going to suggest you get Miston Labs deck for our future purposes, but like they don't have one.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
wow.
true. And back to the endorsed entree. I mean, now we know Copper. They know us. So they're
we're going from a crony, corrupt world to a true meritocracy, and people like Mr. Wonderful, who advocate regulation to prevent competition and keep others down to protect their positions, are not really operating with that same skill set. So I think the winners who end up on top in a meritocratic landscape, and I'm not saying he's without merit, but that type of cozy deal making is an artifact of the world as it was, not the world as it will be. Of those things he mentioned, Solana is a VC-backed centralized database software masquerading as a cryptocurrency. Ethereum is the same. It's highly centralized. It's dominated by early whales, even more so now with this transition to proof of stake. If your business model is to partner with people that use violence to prevent fair competition and enforce monopolies, then okay, great, that can be very profitable. But that is not decentralized, blockchain-based cryptocurrencies. That's like crony database software approach. So if you want
to, when he was talking and he was giving his picks, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, you know what? You declared it yourself. You're underwater. You have a platform like no other. You're basically giving the signal to what your picks are to be able to have others buy into your sell wall.
I'm sitting there, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sitting there. Okay. And it's like, to me, this is like Luna and Mike Novogratz all over again. Okay. It's like, yeah, it's in the red, but nothing looked as safe as good as this, and then watching Mike like sweating it, in Austin on stage.
Voiceovers, man. That was pretty good.
Novogratz is sitting there like barely able to sit because his ass hurts so bad, in the spotlight, sweating like a pig, talking about all this valuable experience that I acquired, by taking it in the culo,
when I was hunting bear.
Yep. Anyway, sorry, I'm looking forward to like 6 months from now what Mr. Wonderful is going to say.
Go ahead, Max.
Yeah, so there's a great saying from the technology industry back from the era when IBM was on top. Back, it's hard to imagine now, but back during the 60s and into the 70s, IBM was basically a monopoly, and there were tons of innovative companies offering products that were faster, better, cheaper, but they had a really hard time getting into the market. Imagine a large insurance corporate company that is buying all their IBM gear for decades, and then somebody says, "Hey, you can buy this hard drive for 1/10 the price." And for a long time, it became a famous saying: "Nobody gets fired for buying IBM."
Right.
And it's not their money. Why take a risk? And it, if it goes right, nobody's going to notice. If it goes wrong, then it's your job on the line. So nobody gets fired for buying IBM. And the investment industry version of that is that it's okay to fail as long as you fail the same way as everyone else. So a friend of mine is a coach for high-level Wall Street traders and Wolf of Wall Street types. And he was talking about how his client base is over the moon because they're only down 19% this year, whereas the S&P is down 26 or something like that. They don't care that they lost money because their frame of reference is not win or lose. It's how they are measured versus other stuff. Yeah. And so Mr. Wonderful's thinking is very appropriate if you're talking about stocks. Like if crypto assets were stocks, then sure, okay, well, historically, large caps have done this over the prior decades of market experience. People are applying their heuristics, their paradigm, their framework of how they approach this investment landscape using skills that were honed from a different era, and this time it's different. But if all you if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And so like we always say, right idea, wrong coin. So it's unfortunate that a lot of people are going to lose. But the flip side of that is that the right ones with the eyes to see, who are thinking the right way, will win. We've had a massive centralization of wealth and power, particularly over the past 50 years, from the people at the bottom end of the socioeconomic hierarchy to the top end. And that's not because the people at the pinnacle were working harder, faster, smarter, creating better products. It was just a thumb on the scale redirecting wealth through the monetary system from people at the low end of the totem pole upwards. It's an upwards wealth redistribution mechanism, and here that isn't happening. So when I see Ethereum get into bed with the powers that be that it was supposed to dethrone, to me that says the cycle is complete. The loop has closed. They are thinking, okay, well, Microsoft became the de facto standard of the U.S. government, and that was the backbone of their success for decades. Okay, well, let's plug in there, and now the SEC says everything's the security that's not Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But now that's not the case. Oh, it's a security again. Let's regulate it.
Right.
By the way, sorry, you triggered something. I've been triggered. Hinman, baby, Hinman, the 2018.
Let me go to my safe space.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so
Yoga dyed his hair purple.
That's it, man. My pronouns are whatever. So Ripple finally obtains.
I have a good joke I'm going to tell you guys after we're off.
Okay, hold on. Ripple obtains long-sought documents of the former SEC official who declared Ethereum not a security. They get the Hinman papers. Okay, this is going to be juicy as juice. Let's just say that. Okay, but the Hinman documents are out in Ripple's hands, and this is going to be some really cool insight as to why Ethereum was spared at that time. The hint is money changed hands. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I saw that this morning, and kind of thought I've been following this pretty closely, and this one just popped at like 5 a.m. this morning.
Let me make it very clear.
Anybody wanting to know the personal joke that I'm going to share with Max and Yoga afterwards? You have to be quick. Okay, that's it.
That was blurry.
Yeah, let me make it very, very clear for people, those who are not in Freeman University, t.me/FreemanU. Ether is a security, period. It doesn't matter what anyone else tells you, usually self-serving that has a reason for saying that. Ether is a security. Almost anything with a company involved in its creation or that has any degree of control, management control, influence, governance light counts as that. Epic is governance free. That's a key distinction. Anything proof of stake, anything centralized, basically everything is a security except BTC and us.
The takeaway here that I want everyone to hear me on, please, is the world just doesn't know this yet. That's why I like the get rich slowly, is we're in the right project. And it's kind of cool to just take the pressure off yourself. When you're thinking about price and you're checking your I couldn't even tell you what the price of Epic Cash is today. I haven't looked at it for probably maybe close to 2 weeks. I just don't care because I know where we're going. And I know that we're going to be left standing because of the defensive design. But it doesn't mean that it might take the rest of the world a while to catch up to that. It's going to take some pain for other projects to go through to catch up to it. But I don't know about you. I mean, maybe there's certain people out there that are just adamant that in a year they need to be out of their holdings because of X, Y, or Z. Not for me, man. I mean, I have a 5-year time horizon for anything. I mean, that's my time horizon. I know between now and 5 years, I think I'm going to be super wealthy just because of, I was smart enough to be able to get into Epic under $1. Well, I don't even know. I presume we're under 50 cents right now, or we're close or something like that. But goodness gracious, acquire Epic Cash. We're going to be the only one left standing, one of the only ones left.
When in doubt, zoom out. Here's a data point. So the yearly low for Epic in 2022 has been 42 cents. We're not much above that now. So if you're thinking about getting into Epic, you are paying 40 something cents, whereas in December of 2021, we got up to 685. It's not like we got 85%, 95% worse. We got much better.
Spirit of full disclosure, I acquired my average basis, I believe, is around 75 cents for my whole bag. So yeah, man, this is the time. If you wish, you could have been me back way when I first started covering Epic Cash at 18 cents. Well,
people can buy cheaper than you. Yeah, exactly. And they didn't even have to work at it. But the bigger thing is, okay, so as sucky as it is to be at 40 something cents, let's call it 42, because that's the yearly low in 2022. Okay, if you bought at a high and it's down, then it feels bad. But our yearly low in 2021 was 12 cents. So our floor was up what was that, 350% from bottom to bottom. And in 2020 we were half a cent. So half a cent, 12 cents, 42 cents. Like, I don't know, what other investment opportunities people have out there, but that is amazing. Over a 2.5 year period.
You referenced it, but I do want to give a shout out, personal empathy shout out to those that when we were really rolling and going and did acquire what they could at our near all-time highs. My heart goes out to you, but that's where when I talk about my time horizon and everything, that 685, let's say you bought at 685, just forget about it and we'll wake you up when you're rich, because it's not if, it's when. Everything starts to catch up. I mean, are you liberty, Max, to talk about the first 2 episodes of Trillions or not yet?
Gonna wait on that one.
Okay, we'll wait on that one. Well, Copper is going to be in there. Copper has embraced us as a partner. Now, Max, this is probably going to be the most important part of this show, at least to me. Okay, I saw some of the sausage making in our group, and what is the gentleman's name who's the head of biz dev there? That's our
Ilya.
Ilya. So Ilya, I couldn't believe all of the things that he was writing in there after he had his meeting with their executive team, to where they were all so damned excited. I want to know, why are they so excited about Epic Cash? What is it about us that gets them frothing like this? They're willing to give.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to it. So it's not just Epic, it's the overall ecosystem vision.
Exactly.
So as part of the deal, it's not just Epic, but it's all the other protocols and assets that we need as well. So
Ding,
this
ding.
Copper relationship is for the entire subway station. We don't need to have a 9-month mating dance to get to the table for EMPL, as an example, or
Right.
Eon. Those are probably 2 of the next ones that will come in. Now that we have that going, we can fast track some of the other stuff. So it's a majorly strategic for us, but also part of why they're so excited is, as I mentioned, there's 26 different custody providers. There's 2 main players. Fireblocks is not technically a custodian, but most people think of them as such. And strategically for Copper, like, I think, you can see the flashes in the eyes of, ooh, wow, that's interesting, of all the cool stuff that we're doing. The performance capabilities of our blockchains, Epic itself is amazing. The other stuff will blow people's minds. Our tech can do things that no other networks can do. Scalability is a big part of that. Yep. These other networks don't have capacity. And so like, let's say the rest of the industry doesn't catch on to Epic for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 3 quarters, whatever it is.
Yep.
However long it is between when Copper has us and their competition does, then as we get hot and people want to add us, well, maybe, okay, Copper has 600 clients. What if 60 new clients come and sign up with Copper because they have Epic and their competitors don't? All of a sudden, it's not just about the fees that they get. They charge 4 basis points is their revenue model. However much money people store with them, they take 4 bips. That's the bite. So, that's exciting. But in terms of the valuation for their business, what does it mean that they have a strategic advantage that their competitors don't? Not that they can't, but, I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in paying millions of dollars to go, get on the shelf at Target if we're already on the shelf at Walmart.
Right.
And the fact that they're willing to look past our small market cap, and the fact that we come from a background that's very unconventional. If we had Andreessen Horowitz and Kevin O'Leary putting 300 million into us, then it'd be, oh, okay, nobody gets fired for buying IBM. But the fact that we're a community project, and the fact that we do have privacy, that required a bit of selling. And another thing that they were very excited about, are very excited about, is Trillions, because if you go to copper.co and take a look at their website, it's a very complex offering. There's a lot of moving parts. It's not immediately obvious to people what they do, why it's important, why should I care? Oh, I'm just lost in all this detail. And so the chance for me to work with them on a very close basis, I'm actually going to meet with them for the Money 2020 show here over this next week, is, okay, we would like to tell the industry the story of why Copper is amazing and why you need it, and position that in the right kind of way through the show. So, if you think about it, even something as simple as one line of dialogue, imagine, whoops, sorry, my microphone just dropped here. imagine that there's some hacking incident where somebody like hits the wrong button on a ledger and ends up vaporizing $100 million, and the guy laughs and goes, "Ha, should have used copper." Like, what,
Right.
you know, what are you new here? You don't know to use copper? I mean, in like four seconds, we can put that image in the mind of people. So Trillions is a part of it. Believing in our vision is a part of it. And also, like, if you think about it, if you need to move value between different institutional counterparties, 3 days ago or whenever it was, people that were using BTC as a settlement layer were out of business for 85 minutes. That hasn't happened before in BTC. So if you need a reliable network to move value around and you can't accept any compromises, Epic simply has the performance that other networks don't. We haven't gone down 11 times like Solana. We've had 100% perfect uptime since March of 2021, 100% uptime before that when we had that value overflow incident, which is a one-time thing. We fixed it and moved on. Will never happen again. So we've got a bulletproof thing that holds a lot of potential. And these guys are unique in looking past the short-term feeding frenzy of getting rich off of VC-fueled centralized pump and dump scams and soaking them for fees, because we're going to be around in 5 years. And a lot of this other stuff, sure, you banged them for $2 million, but then they're out of business in 2 years. What good does that do? There's a lot of setup costs that goes into supporting a protocol, extended due diligence. They really have to kick the tires and make sure that our software is complete, correct, doesn't have any backdoors, security flaws, things like that. Hundreds of institutions essentially outsource their due diligence on a technical basis to specialists like Copper that have the requisite expertise that they don't. So this is a major validation for us.
So when we look at copper.co and then we go to Copper products, is custody where we're going to live?
All of it.
Oh, just all of it. Okay.
Their whole platform. Yeah. Once we're on their platform, we're in all that stuff.
Trading firms, DeFi funds, buy and hold investors, financial institutions, hedge funds, fintech, exchanges. Guys, this is.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point.
And also check this out. So go look at research. Go to the research tab up on the top. So they're going to write articles about us in their research.
Oh, fantastic.
If you go down to the bottom, they have their equivalent of the Uncle B channel, their podcasts, their YouTube channel is called Coppercasts. Right-hand side under resources, go to Coppercasts.
I'm doing what everybody should do. Let's all sign up and subscribe so that we can be in the loop. If you got this far through the this show and you don't subscribe to copper.co, then you know what, that's on you. Please type correct email. I did.
No,
you typed the website. You didn't type the.
Oh, geez.
It's all right.
Gosh, I should be in. I should be in Costa Rica. Obviously, I am subscribed now. Okay, I'll stop there.
Uncle needs a beverage with an umbrella in it.
Yeah, no kidding.
So they're going to offer us marketing support. Also, other partners that are going to do similar things for us are AirKit, Carta, FirstBase.io, Ibanera, PLI Cards, and Shift Markets. So it's not just going to be one respected name validating our existence and our merit. It will be all of them, more or less, between now and the end of the year.
Jeff Chapman's in the chat. A special shout out to Jeff, who was our liaison into Copper. So thank you for that. You made it happen as far as getting that first important meeting. And Max, you did what you always do and blow people away. These people were just smart enough to listen and give you more time than people that just don't also have supercomputers for brains. So, well, this is amazingly exciting and real. And for those out there who, I don't know, it's so funny. I take a look at the whole privacy crypto world right now, and as little investigation I do go into other groups, and I'll look, and I just don't see any development. I don't see anything but what is seemingly pseudo angry males in between gaming that are just pissed off at life. I don't know. I get no joy like I get with Epic. True story. I'm gonna end with this, and then I'll hand it over to you, gentlemen. But I have literally been out of pocket just mentally, right, knowing that I'm not going to be doing anything Epic this since last Friday. So other than some discussions we had over the weekend, Max, it's just I've been kind of checked out. And then yesterday, when I just started checking in, it just hit me how much I missed the Epic Cash community. It's like, I'm not kidding you. I'm not full of what. It's like I got back in and could start focusing and see all the familiar names and see all the positive, things that are happening and just catching up. And it like gave me this jolt of, adrenaline that I'm back. I'm back where I belong, which is with this Epic Cash community. So I just wanted to share that with you guys out there. You make my life special by being part of the community. And I was really looking forward to today's live stream. So from my end, thank you, Max and Yoga, for all of the high quality information and the update. And I'll leave it to you two to close it out.
Well, only thing I want to say is, you're talking about community. We're growing, and I'm also, I look in on all these other different projects just to see what's out there, and we do have pretty healthy energy. We also have our Freeman U, which is it's not just about Epic. It's open conversation about tech, across different platforms, across different, it's objective look at what's out there, and how can it benefit us. We don't have this completely closed off, maximalism. I mean, we think we're pretty damn good, but we're also constantly exploring ways to make ourselves better. We're always constantly, I've said this before, the beauty of epic.tech is that, if we find technology that doesn't suck, we can subsume it into our ecosystem.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's how you stay the top predator, and that's how you become the top predator in the ecosystem. And I think we're on our way to do that.
Great.
Yep. And speaking of interesting tech and plugging into the rest of the ecosystem, I was working with Johnny on the EMPL white paper these past few days, and we have our firm deployment schedule for which chains we are going to plug into in what order. So for Q4 of 2022, we have Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, and Solana. What we did on this is go by market cap. So those are the first wave. After that, Cardano, Polygon, OKChain, and Tron. Then Q2 of next year, Algorand, Kronos, Ethereum Classic, and Near. Obviously, these are all subject to change, and we hope to get them done faster. And beyond that, there's actually there's about 72 on the list, different EVM Ethereum virtual machine compatible chains that we can issue the EMPL token on. And so as that gets in place, our value proposition will be relevant to increasingly large groups of people outside our ecosystem. So right now, Cardano people, as an example, don't really care about us. They care about Cardano. They don't hear about us much. But when all of a sudden they can use their ADA tokens to buy EMPL and earn some, exciting returns based on providing us capital through the EMPL token, then that's not necessarily going to build some awareness inside their echo chamber. And there's no reason people can't be Tron aficionados at the same time that they're into Epic as well. They serve completely different purposes.
Here's a disconnect to most people, not me, because I know the answer. So not a humble brag. It's just, but I know that other people will have this question. What the heck does EMPL have to do with Epic Cash? I own Epic Cash. I don't own any EMPL. So how's it?
Yeah.
know,
Well, you don't
number
yet, but
one.
you will want to. Yeah, you will want to. So EMPL is elastic multi-platform liquidity. It is a connective tissue between different blockchains back to Epic. So we're all familiar with how if you wrap your Epic tokens or coins into E1 tokens and you pair those with an ECR, let's say you want to make ECR on Solana. Okay, you have ECR, you have E1. Okay, now you've created EUSD for yourself on Solana, but that's not the only way that EUSD gets created. EUSD gets created also by fractional reserving. There's a technique called FRAX, FXS and FRAX, if people want to check it out. This is another example of taking interesting ideas and code bases that have been out in the market for some time and applying them differently. And so essentially, this is another way that the supply of EUSD out on Tron, on Cardano, on Polygon, on Solana, liquidity gets fragmented and it gets isolated. And if the price of EUSD needs to stay stable at $1, the Epic price is moving and the Solana price is moving. If Justin Sun tweets and the Tron price goes up and Solana goes down and the SOL price goes down, then EUSD is going to be $1.10 or 90 cents instead of $1. And so we need people to be able to lock in those arbitrage profits without the chains having to talk to each other, because you can't get the bridges to connect all these chains to work fast enough. They don't have enough capacity. They always get hacked and attacked and fail and stuff. So this EMPL, basically what it does is it enables capital to flow freely between Epic and other blockchains by providing an additional link that is paired with EUSD. So this is another like I don't know if you know what fascia are, that like sinewy fiber under the skin that connects our human bodies together. EMPL is like a fascia inside the chain ecosystem, so that people can harvest arbitrage profits.
Okay, so
you know what I like with 2 minutes on the clock. Uncle says, Max, say something to take us away, to take us out. Okay, and Max goes, you remember that's Blazing Saddles? Excuse me while I whip this out.
Oh my gosh, you just gave me the idea for the thumbnail, Mongo, for this Mongo talking Bitcoin.
Thank you, Max. That was lovely.
Ain't seen nothing yet. This one, this one's really fun, because for a long time people were like, "Oh, you're just a shit fork of Grin. Like you didn't even write your code. Like Michael Dell didn't invent the PC. Are you kidding me? That's not where the value is." But here, we're really pushing the frontier because there's absolutely nothing like this, and it solves a major problem. So we need to have a robust enough solution for billions of users at trillions of dollars. And there's a lot of use cases out there. It doesn't have to all be on one blockchain. So this is a major force multiplier for Epic itself.
Yeah, I think let's see.
Well, it was a sheriff in town that was the. Excuse me while I whip this out. It wasn't Mongo, but
they're not even allowing the videos to be played. That's probably
for the best.
That's probably for the best for this show. I can't even figure out where my stop screen share is. Okay, well, Max, thank you for whipping it out and making my head explode. I'm sure others did too. What are we doing here?
We're wrapping this up.
We are wrapping it up. I thought I hit stop share, but I didn't. Okay, here we go. Now I can find the end button and appropriately end this by wishing everyone a great weekend and cheers.